The story is simple. A man gets out of prison. He wants revenge on the lawyers who put him there, and he's gonna get it. That's been the premise of Cape Fear for 60 years. A 1957 novel, 2 films, and now an Apple TV Plus miniseries. But the 2026 version isn't interested in simple. Max Cady, played by Javier Bardem, doesn't come back as a brute. He comes back as the most famous wrongful conviction case in America. He has media coverage, public sympathy, and 17 years of studying exactly how the system works and exactly how to use it. The lawyers he's targeting, Anna and Tom Bowden, already can't stand each other. Their kids are unraveling. The house is on fire before he even arrives. What Nick Antosca's version understands, and what makes it worth 10 episodes, is that fear doesn't need a knife. It needs patience. It needs someone who knows your weaknesses better than you do, and the discipline to wait.
I see something eating at you. I never said a word about what happened.
The most chilling thing about Max Cady isn't his temper. It's that he's done his homework. Every system has rules. The people who wrote them assume everyone will play by them honestly. Cady doesn't. He studied the law the way a lockpick studies a lock. Not to obey it, but to find where it gives. And the Bowdens, who built their entire lives inside that system, suddenly find it working against them. The rules haven't changed. Someone just learned to read them differently. Daniel Blake is a carpenter in Newcastle. He's had a heart attack. His doctor says he can't work. The benefit system says he can. And it will keep saying that, calmly and without malice, until it kills him. Ken Loach's Palme d'Or winner is a film about bureaucracy as a weapon, not wielded with anger, but with procedure. Every form Daniel fills out sends him to another form. Every phone call tells him to go online. Every rule he follows leads to a rule that contradicts it. The system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Loach called it conscious cruelty, the deliberate use of complexity to exhaust the people who need help most. Daniel can't win because the game was never designed for him to win. What connects this to Cape Fear isn't the politics, it's the inversion. Daniel Blake is helpless against a system he doesn't understand. Max Cady has spent 17 years learning the exact same system, memorizing its loopholes, its pressure points, its silences, and now he's using it the way Daniel never could. The Bowdens built their careers inside that machinery. They never thought to fear it. But Cady's leverage over the Bowdens isn't just legal. He doesn't need to manufacture their suffering. It's already there. Anna is a recovering alcoholic. Tom is quietly considering an affair. Their son is in free fall. Their daughter is starting to piece things together. Before Max Cady ever knocked on their door, his family was already coming apart at the seams.
Gick du och ville ha nummer till?
Jag vet inte.
Men så kan du inte svara.
Jag tänkte väl kanske det att blir det ett barn nu så är det meningen att vi ska ha ett barn.
Åh, herregud.
The first episode of Ingmar Bergman's 6-part Swedish miniseries opens on a couple being photographed for a magazine. They talk about how happy they are, how solid, how well they communicate. Within 30 minutes, the cracks are showing. Within 6 hours, you've watched 10 years of a marriage destroy two people who genuinely loved each other and had no idea how. Bergman shot the whole thing in close-up, faces filling the frame, nowhere to hide. There's almost no score, no dramatic incident, just conversation after conversation, in which Johann and Mariana slowly reveal that beneath the stable surface, they've been strangers for years. An affair, a divorce, and then worse, the realization that they can't stay away from each other even after everything is gone. The Bowdens would recognize this immediately. Not the Swedish mid-century apartment, but the structure. Two people who have been performing a marriage so long, they've forgotten what was underneath it. The difference is that Bergman's couple only have each other to reckon with. The Bowdens have Max Cady watching. Which brings us to the man himself. Because Cape Fear lives or dies on whether you can spend 10 hours with Max Cady and not look away. Bardem plays him as a live wire, volatile, funny, sexually charged, and genuinely terrifying. He doesn't feel like a villain. He feels like the most alive person in every room he enters. The Bowdens are barely surviving their own lives. Cady is thriving. Lynn Ramsey's film gives you Joaquin Phoenix as Joe, a hired rescuer of trafficked girls, a veteran, a man with a hammer and a history of violence he can't escape. He lives with his elderly mother. He fantasizes about his own death, and he is the closest thing this film has to a moral center. Ramsey doesn't let the camera glamorize him. The most brutal moments in the film happen off-screen, or through grainy CCTV footage, violence rendered flat and functional, the way Joe experiences it. What she keeps in frame is everything else: the tenderness, the exhaustion, the way trauma loops back on itself until the past and present are indistinguishable. Joe is broken and dangerous, and you feel his pain more acutely than anyone else in the film. This is what Bardem is doing with Cady. Not the hammer, but the interiority. The sense that this man's rage is inseparable from his grief. That the monster has a complete inner life you're not quite allowed to touch. Cape Fear 2026 follows Cady into spaces the films couldn't. 10 hours means you understand his logic from the inside. You Were Never Really Here is the template for how to do that without either sentimentalizing the violence or making it gratuitous. But Cady's story has a specific engine: wrongful conviction. He didn't just serve time, he served time for something he didn't do, put there in part by the people he's now tormenting. That detail matters. It's the thing that makes the public love him, that makes Anna and Tom doubt themselves, that makes the show something more than a thriller. The justice system produced this nightmare, and it's not finished.
He wanted to give the appearance that this was a wholesome, functioning family. Well, that simply is not true.
In 2001, novelist Michael Peterson called 911 from his North Carolina home. His wife Kathleen had been found at the bottom of the stairs. He said it was an accident. The prosecution said otherwise. Jean-Xavier de Lestrade started filming the moment Peterson was indicted and didn't stop for 15 years. The Staircase is the document of a case that never settles. Peterson was convicted, then released on a technicality, then took an Alford plea, admitting there was sufficient evidence to convict while maintaining his innocence. The documentary filmmaker's own editor fell in love with Peterson during production. The series spans 3 decades, 4 trials, and ends with a man walking free, and the truth still nowhere to be found. What it captures, and what Cape Fear inherits, is the specific vertigo of a wrongful conviction that might not be wrongful. The public exoneree, the media circus, the family left to perform innocence indefinitely. Anna helped put Cady away. She no longer knows whether she was right. That doubt is the most effective weapon he has. The staircase is the only work that truly understands what it feels like to live inside it. The Bowdens can change their locks. They can upgrade their security system. They can stop opening the door. None of it matters, because Cady doesn't need to be in the room. The 2026 update to this story is about something the original novel couldn't have imagined. The threat that lives in your phone, your inbox, your teenage daughter's social feeds. The horror isn't that someone is outside. It's that they're already in.
So far, I've had all her diseases.
Must have been expensive.
Is there any way you could spread it?
Brandon Cronenberg's debut feature takes place in a near future where fans can pay to be infected with diseases harvested from celebrities. The clinic that Sid March works for has an exclusive contract with a starlet named Hannah Geist. Her flu, her herpes, her biology, all available for purchase. Elsewhere, synthetic flesh grown from celebrity DNA is sold as food. The boundary between public figure and private body has dissolved entirely. The film is cold, sterile, and genuinely disturbing. Less a thriller than a thought experiment taken all the way to its logical end. What Cronenberg is describing is the collapse of the membrane between a famous person and the people consuming them. There is no private self left. The icon is a resource. Max Cady understands this. He became the most famous exoneree in America, a media figure with a public persona he curates carefully. And he uses that persona to get inside the Bowdens' lives through every open channel. The true crime podcast their daughter is obsessively following, the AI-generated messages, the digital gaslighting. He doesn't need to break down the door. He's already in the feed. Antiviral arrived at this logic 12 years before Cape Fear, and it's never been more relevant. 5 angles on fear. The system weaponized, the marriage hollowed out, the monster with a conscience, the case without a verdict, and the threat that lives inside your screen. Drop your holiday in the comments. The villain who got under your skin the way no hero ever did.